Wow, 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 wow. Prismatic discussion.
Hello and welcome to the Prismatic Congress. It is Sunday, the 15th of December at 2200 UTC game time. And yeah, you're listening to the Prismatic Congress, a broadcast by the Prismatic Imperium based in QBO, an active player group that makes up part of the Ashling Duval community and specializes in roleplay. This is the second podcast I am hosting, Lord Warden Mistler, today because we still have no idea where our usual host, Jeff Ryan, is. We are looking out for him. We have posted search warrants for him. If you have any clue and see him, then please contact the proper authorities. First of all, for the general game news, it is time for celebrations, not just the holiday season, but also the Elite Dangerous 5th anniversary. And for that, Frontier is running a special event. Most notably, you can get free arcs just by logging into the game, and that is true each day. So every day you log in, you get free arcs. It started at 100 arcs 2 days ago, and today it's already at 150. We will see where it goes, but yes, free arcs every day, so make sure you log at least in once per day and get your free arcs for that paint job or decal or whatever you would like to have for your ship. Furthermore, there is 2 running in-game community goals, one for trade deliveries and one for combat, delivering bounty vouchers. Both are in the reord system and running until the 18th of December. And participating in those not only grants you the standard community goal rewards, but also the Cobra Mark III Iridescent Gleam paint job. If you are interested in that, then at least participate in the community goals. It is there's no requirement for how much you have to contribute. So much for the general news this week. Let's move on to branch news. First of all, branch of Vigor. And this is the point where I directly continue. For the branch of Vigor, I am happy to see a couple of more active players in our player group this week. And that means we have better control over the AU space currently. There is the control war up in the Unilini system, which means we not only stand to liberate that system, but also to gain a pretty cool Coriolis station that is specialized on terraforming. So that is sweet to have, and we already saw people running there. We will continue and hopefully take over the system very, very soon. Beyond that, we are looking into adding more of our systems that we are in but don't have control over yet, and at least look into freeing more slaves by taking over from imperial factions that are not aligned with Ashling Duval's goals. That's already the news for Vigor this week. Let me hand over to Lord Headmaster Tekeran for the branch of Sight.
First of all, don't mind my voice. I'm a bit ill. And secondly, where the hell is my vice headmaster? He still hasn't answered me. Yeah, I mean, I can do the work alone, but what by Arcana are you doing out there? Please just send a message. I have no idea what to do. There are so many messages for you, post and so on. Your office is filled with paper all around. And yeah, I mean literal paper. Also some holopads from the students, but please come back. Also, I urge each and every one of you, please help me to fund my commission on the diamond market. The Vector needs to be shut down. I need that private organization so we can finally deal with him, because his insults towards my branch, some of them have crossed the line. Please, help me. I'm desperate, and I'm also ill.
Not a lot of branch news for Mind this week. Nothing new anyway. Just a continuation of what's been going on. I've been pretty sick the last few days, so I've been spending most of my time just creating new commissions. The ones that you see and ones that will be added in the future. So just trying to keep the excitement rolling, and that really covers the majority of it. I guess I could mention that we rolled out a new font on the website. That was Missler's doing. Um, it's certainly got its advantages, but it is new, so go check it out. There is also the sale that was going on with the Diamond Market has ended, so now's a good time to sell all of your stuff and look for new sales. And that market will be updating quite regularly, so visit often. And that concludes everything for the branch of Mind.
Thank you. I immediately have a follow-up question. Are there any
Yes.
plans for special Christmas events? Do we even have Christmas on Cubio?
Oh yes, yes, we have Christmas around the galaxy. Unfortunately, I haven't lined anything up, but I certainly wanted to. And with our new, the fact that the website can actually post stuff to our Discord now, that's something I intended to take advantage of with the 12 Days of Christmas. Um,
Mhm.
but I will consider setting that up for next year. But I'm always open to ideas. If anyone has ideas they want to submit for what we could do, I intend to create all of the Cubio holidays, which you're more than welcome to submit ideas of your own. Um, there needs to be opportunities for festivities every single month, basically. So every
Oh,
month we'll have at least one holiday for the Prismatic Imperium or Cubio in general. Something to fill up the calendar and things to plan for if we want to do events.
can there be something like a Lord Headmaster holiday for killing Spencer Isaac?
Sure, we will create a holiday on the day you killed Spencer Isaac.
Yeah,
Let's just hope he is dead. Otherwise, we'd all feel pretty foolish.
he is dead.
It could be the main guest for the celebrations.
No, by
That would be
Arcana,
a plot
no.
twist.
Yeah, Isaac shows up to his own party. Spencer Isaac's birthday, I think, came and went. I'd have to check on my codex. It's in December. I I guess it would be a little inappropriate though if we celebrated it, right?
All right, I think you said it would be, but you didn't add it to the postings.
No, no, I don't think it would be appropriate.
This would be his birthday if he wasn't dead.
Oh, December 19th. So I still have some time to think about it.
Don't tell Kaidin.
The more publicity Spencer Isaac gets, the more opportunities Techeron has to remind everybody that he killed him. So this would work
Exactly.
in Techeron's favor.
I saved everyone's day.
I just got a new idea for Vector.
Ah, don't even dare. Please. I mean, I have problems enough with him. Nobody wants to fund my commission.
I think there's just too many good commissions right now, so don't take it personally.
Well,
We
you
do
can
have a
never
lot of
be
them
sure.
right now, yeah.
This is what I had intended all along. It's just um, I didn't have the full library put together yet. I technically am still working on it. But eventually there'll be enough of these to pick from that it'll be easy to keep it populated. And Missler's able to make his own too, so
It already did.
yeah, and that's been
Oh,
very helpful.
can I
I'm
make my own too?
I
You
thought
did make,
this yours.
yeah, you made your own. You can make more in the future.
Ah, perfect. I have a few ideas.
Could specifically use some science-related ones
Of course.
for various explorers. That would be extremely helpful.
Yeah, I mean, it could be an advantage for site recruits and professors.
Mhm.
Yes.
And for a change, it might maybe not include throwing things into black holes.
Yeah, please.
Yes.
I mean, that's not necessary. That's why the last one of that kind failed. I just laughed at him.
If you do make commissions specific to yourself, it does cost.
Nah, I want to make branch-specific commissions.
All right, good.
The current one isn't branch-specific. It's just I just want to get rid of him. That's all.
Yeah, and I expect you to deliver on that.
I mean, if that mission succeeds, it
If
will
that
mean
mission
some work
succeeds,
for
are
you.
you gonna do anything?
I guess
I'm
you need
excited
to
to
do
see where that one
something
goes.
because, yeah, if it succeeds, the Vector will have some serious problems, and I guess that's going to be some work for you then.
All right. Any other follow up in terms of branch news or branch work that you want to bring up?
Well, I have a recruit. Not entirely a recruit yet, but Commander T wants to join my branch. I've put him through 3 difficult tests to find out if he's truly worthy to become a side member, because he came from the branch of mine, so I can't be really sure.
Was some
I-
fairly
I'll tell
unexpected roleplay, but it definitely had a lot of comedic value. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'll tell you more once the mission is done. He still has to select one. So probably next week you'll hear a lot more about that story.
All right. Then I think it is time to move into prismatic discussion.
Prismatic discussion. Prismatic discussion.
Well,
Prismatic discussion.
At least Jeff is there. And do we have to shout at him? He's online on Discord now.
Oh, yep. Yes.
Hmm.
Shouting is always required.
Is he avoiding us again and only to jump in at the last minute and like, haha!
Haha, I fooled you into doing it alone again, and you succeeded.
Hmm.
bring him
I-
back to his office.
I
It's
think
full
we
of
could draw
stuff.
parables to Stone Soup here.
Now
Jeff
don't have,
Ryan brought the stone.
because I wasn't aware that Jeff wouldn't be here, I haven't really prepared anything in terms of discussion topics. I have no idea if Jeff is about to drop in now that he appears to be online. But I'll assume he won't for now and open this up at least also to our guests today and open up any suggestions for topics or something you want to discuss.
Here's a topic for you. Monty is online. Monty the Red.
Who's Monty
all-
the Red?
all
I've heard the name every now and then, but I think that was before my time.
He was, yeah. He was our master scribe. He basically documented everything that ever happened and created essentially a codex before we had a codex.
The
Not just for the
Grandmaster of
Prismatic
the
Imperium.
library, yeah.
We called him the Lord Librarian because
Exactly, I
he
remember the
indexed
title.
everything. And where that went, I do not know.
Was it like local documents where he kept records, or what do I have to imagine for that?
It was all on his own computer, as far as I know. I don't really know. It's like he was building his own private Wikipedia.
Wow.
Certainly could have some useful information, but one thing that we tend to do is a little bit of retconning in the Prismatic Imperium, especially with the titles and stuff.
Right, I think the titles are not completely updated yet in the codex.
No,
I think it
I
even still has the
definitely
Viceroy title.
Who?
The Viceroy title.
Who has the Viceroy title?
It's still in the codex, I mean.
Oh yeah.
I'm still looking forward to read that story about me killing Spencer Isaac, but it still hasn't been published yet.
Yes, it has.
It's out yet.
It's mentioned every now and then, quite frequently.
Yeah, but I mean in the events section.
Should be in the Spencer Isaac entry, I believe.
Defeat of Spencer Isaac.
Now,
Not
is that the
currently.
one where it still says update soon? There was some placeholder entry, if I remember. Yeah, that's the one. We definitely need a new librarian in that case. What did the title was
Isn't that something that the branch of mind should do?
exactly, was it a branch of mind title before, or how did that used to work?
What title?
But not librarian.
Oh, no, it was back when we just used to give out fancy titles before we had a strong structure. It was connected with Mind. Yes, Monty the Red was a member of Mind.
Sounds like something at least that you could reintroduce, not as a Lord Librarian title, but as a task for mind people or so.
I certainly agree.
The heralds can manage that, I'm sure.
In theory, yes. But Sight is grabbing all of our mind pilots right now.
Of course, right. Sure.
So, Elite 5th birthday. Let me switch topics a bit. As first of all, happy birthday, Elite. What's your take on the events? 3 arcs, yay?
I'm certainly excited about it reaching a 5th birthday.
True.
I remember when I first discovered this game and no one else I ever knew ever even heard about it. Now I'm at a stage where people have heard about it, people that I know, but mostly because they know it through me. So it's not a very widespread game still, but it has come a very long ways.
And it seems to have a very, at least not big, but very stable core player base. I think the Steam, I'd have to look it up again, but I think the Steam statistics is the closest thing we have to any kind of game statistics. But that seems to be fairly consistent.
Yeah, if I recall, there's like a good 15,000.
Oh.
I have to blame myself for not starting the game through Steam, so it does not count me, for example, but still.
Wow, you don't play through Steam?
No, I'm too tired of starting another launcher.
But Steam is the launcher.
Probably, but I still have to start it.
Ah, come on. If you sit in your ship, you also have to start a lot of scanners. You can't combine them in one system.
So what do you spend to do? What do you intend to do with the free arcs you get?
I intend to buy decals.
I currently have everything I wanted. And everything I want are Imperial ship kits and color white.
The ship kits are a really cool idea. That's something I'd be eyeing with, but those are very expensive. The decals is probably a good idea because they are very cheap.
I don't know how I feel about ship kits besides the Raider ones, which are very awesome, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I think this is on my personal opinion. I think Frontier jumped into giving these ships way too many wings. Visual atmospheric wing thingies on them to the point where when they actually developed ship kits, they're kind of adding spoilers on top of spoilers at this point, and wings onto wings. I don't know. It doesn't feel very planned, and so in my humble opinion, I find that oftentimes the ships they lose their they lose the silhouette that makes them so great, possibly because they come with that too much silhouette already to begin with.
Interesting. Personally, I'm not a big fan of the Raider kits. I find them ugly. I like smooth ships, and that's precisely what the standard kits do.
Yeah, these Raider ship kits are definitely ugly. I mean, I don't want to fly a rusty trash bin.
Okay, so with the Raider kits, the reason why I was praising those is they actually do something new. And
You
that
know,
is
if
create something that I wish we saw from NPCs more often. Actual pirate raiding ships that look
Good point.
like they
if
are what they
you
are. And they
if
definitely look like they belong in the universe. And I think it's strange that the NPCs don't utilize that. Whereas the other ones look like they are ship kits developed by either the manufacturer of the ship itself or some third party that's trying to build something that matches. But
Mhm.
I would say there's like it definitely clashes with some of the the lines, the shape of the ships, especially like say with the cutter. If you stick something that really fleshes it out in its midsection, it's cutting diagonally across things with something that appears to be made out of a different material, like a plastic, as opposed to the regular ship materials.
Mhm.
But the Raider stuff that actually looks like you know ugly looking iron and steel that's been welded to the ship. And then if you add in the corrosion paint job that comes with it generally, or as part of the set, it actually looks believable as something that could happen to a ship if in those kind of hands.
You mean it has this kind of flavor like, my ship needs repairs. I can duct tape it my own.
Yeah. And of
if
course, that doesn't mean any of us have to like it and want to fly with it,
Mhm.
but it certainly is. It seems fitting.
That's a fair point.
if
Um,
you dare to put such a Raider ship kit on a wonderful Imperial ship, you're nothing better than a filthy fed.
Well, I mean, well, no. I mean, the feds don't do that either. But it certainly would make you look like a criminal type, which could certainly be what you're going for. And I think that kind of customization should exist.
yeah, you're a bit more familiar with the elite law. What do you have any special ideas of what Frontier could do in terms of ship kits that add this level of customization to the ships?
Yeah, if we look earlier into the plans, it wasn't limited to just adding elements to your ship, and I really find that they're lacking in opportunities there. Uh, a lot of things you were supposed to be able to upgrade is your ship interior, specifically your dashboard. There is a reason why all of the ships, when you jump into them, they have extremely cheap looking dashboards. It's made out of plastic and other materials. That's because you were supposed to upgrade it with things
Oh,
that look
really? Uh-huh.
nicer. And it is currently just a missed opportunity, but I don't know if in the future maybe they will change that. It's really hard to say because I think they have the plans of, um, if you're getting out of the cockpit soon. I don't know if there's any intention of you being able to walk around your ship or not. But since that was originally part of the plan, it is certain that the interior of your ship is a different model or instance or universe from the exterior of your ship. And so
Mhm.
there might have been concerns possibly that all of that would have to upgrade um, uniformly, which I just don't see as being an issue. So I do not know why it hasn't been done, but they've been holding off on that.
It certainly would be fun, from a at least from a customization aspect, not maybe in terms of gameplay actual, but to not only have ship interior that you could visit with a space-like feature, but also to have this kind of customization, starting with the dashboard you have, but also ranging to
Front,
other interior aspects.
yeah, Frontier definitely said many times that they like the idea of leather
Right.
interiors.
That would probably be fairly easy to do, like share customization. I don't even see anything speaking against having like these Imperial chairs that are in Cutter and Clipper installed just in other ship types.
Yep.
Like mix these share types in different ships. That doesn't sound too hard. Or just changing interior colors. Maybe
Right.
it, maybe that, for example, for the Great Phantom, that red interior color, and the Mark II that has the green interior color, maybe that's considered iconic. I don't know. But that
Yeah.
sounds like it would be fairly easy to change and make it
Yeah,
customizable.
that's another good point. It would be neat to be able to change the all the colors, the accents. Like the Anaconda has an orange accent inside,
Exactly. Yeah.
which I'm a big fan of. But it would be neat to see that as a customizable thing if you wanted to change that accent to green. In a process pretty similar to Planet Coaster, where they're essentially assigning clone materials to an object so that you can
Mhm.
change them independently by surface, and that would be really neat to see.
And it
Uh,
does affect other choices you make, like paint jobs. I think the Imperial ships are a good example. I think the Courier is an example for in my case where I had this, well, in quotes, issue. Um, it has a lot of these blue lights everywhere,
yeah,
and it looks really weird if you put on like a red paint job on it.
yeah,
I would be so happy if I could customize the color of these lights together with the paint job so it makes a better picture in total. But
that would be nice.
but these lights really decide what paint jobs fit, so it shifts it towards a more blue color or just keeping that standard white.
Yeah, Elite Dangerous really does something unique that I've never seen before, and that's the way that they handle paint jobs on certain ships. Um, in addition to most games I'm familiar with actually having a texture map, which they all do have one of those. That really is what defines uh, things like speckles on your paint job. It allows the damage models to be overlaid. Not damage models like Anaconda, but I'm talking about like actual drawing, like laser drawings on your ship,
Mhm,
scratches, smudges, anything that tiles, that kind of thing. But what they do that's new and unique is a layered element of vector drawn paint job, um, which you can definitely see and sometimes even get to bug out when you're looking at it. What you're not actually looking at an image textured onto your ship, but you're looking at just math, an algorithm that is outputting things like black stripes that are running down your ship. But they're vector drawn, so you get close to them and they have like the smooth curve, and you never get to see the pixels, the jaggedy pixels that you see from lower resolutions in just about everything else in the game.
mhm.
And that's super unique. I like that. It
Mm,
is what allows your paint to degrade as it chips through. Other games like Grand Theft Auto would handle that by having a dirty, dusty, or a wet or damaged version of the texture that slowly bleeds in, it
right.
kind of like fading in stronger and stronger. This game doesn't do that for some reason. Instead, it just starts screwing up the mathematical formula that's doing your paint job, and that's why you get close to it and you just see these perfect round ovals that are supposed to be tears in your paint. It's just interesting.
I also have to say that I really like the change that came with the ARCS update, and that allows you to change your livery from pretty much anywhere. So you are out exploring and you are tired of your paint job, then you can just go into menu and change it. It may not feel as realistic as, docking somewhere and changing it there, which is a fair point, but the lore is there to justify it and really just adds more options for the player, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah. A fun fact is the ability to repaint your ship is actually a digital effort in lore. And I've applied that on our diamond market to some of the cars as well. So when you see that jittery tiling effect that goes on when you change your paint job from one thing to another, is actually canon.
It
You're
is.
just
Well,
reprogramming your ship's paint job.
Ha, ja, genau.
I love how in Elite there is a lore explanation for everything. You just have no idea that it is.
Hey, some of it was not intentional, especially Hollow Me. Hollow Me was not a thing, and Frontier, like, they threw it in for one reason and one reason only. They're like, we want character customization, but we don't have the ability to walk around yet. So how do we handle this? How do we
Yeah,
get the player from one place to another place? And they decided, well, what if you're just a hologram and you're not even on your ship?
problem solved.
So yeah, it's one of those things that didn't need to be lore proofed. You don't. I can do a little bit of hand waving and justify that I don't need to see myself get out of the chair to walk over to the Hollow Me customization area, which is essentially a clone of you because you're still in your cockpit seat when you go to do Hollow Me.
Yes,
So a little bizarre thing.
which is at this point I have to slightly rant about this, which is horrible in VR because they do not adjust the camera when you go into the Hollow Me in VR. So you are watching your clone that you customize standing behind your chair from the front of your chair. So you're essentially seeing your twice. And in order to be able to customize, my experience was that I had to move my head forward until I clipped through the chair to see my Hollow Me.
That's funny.
There there are certainly some things, also the store preview, that are not really working in VR. It would be awesome if they fixed that, and it is part of the fixes that I hope for these upcoming bug fix patches. But I
Yeah,
can also understand that VR is not probably their highest priority right now.
right. You know what else is funny about the Hollow Me customization is that the character that you're customizing is still glued to a chair, even though they're not currently sitting in that chair. And so they'll do weird things to get the character wherever they need them to be, whether that is spinning a chair around or making a chair float off into some other place. It's just really bizarre that the characters are just offset. They're in a standing position, offset from a chair. It's like super, like, let's just make this work without having any functionality of space legs. And I just thought that was really interesting. Definitely something you can observe in VR, but not in normal gameplay.
Right.
But yeah, Hollow Me is something that was invented just to throw in a feature sooner than it could be allowed. And again, I say it's one of those things that maybe they didn't have to be so focused on lore for an explanation, but I don't I like it. I think Hollow Me is a great idea. It really changes the way you think about certain things in this game. It gives a new meaning to death, that's for sure.
For the paint job thing, do we know why repairing your paint job is not part of the default repair button in the starport services? Was there
Yes,
complaints that people
it
want to
used
keep
to
their
be.
degraded ship? Because right now I
Yes.
think the only way to do it is, and you only find that out by accident in a way, or by just fiddling with the interface. The only way to make sure your paint job stays upgraded is to always hit into that advanced maintenance terminal.
Yeah, it's true that anything you aim to do in Elite Dangerous is not easy. And maybe there could be easier ways of communicating that, but this is what we have. But that is true. Players asked for that feature. Some players want to have terrible looking paint jobs, and it wasn't fun when every time they go to repair, it would fix the paint job. So that was a change that was made.
Sounds to me like a case where it would be easier, or well, maybe not easier, but most helpful to just have a switch in the options or in
Yeah,
your right side terminal to just toggle off auto repair my paint
perhaps.
job. Done.
This game is complicated whenever you get someone new,
Right.
an actual friend, not somebody you met who's already invested in this game. and you met them on Discord. I'm talking about you get a personal friend that heard you talking about this game. They pick up this game, and then they start asking you the hard questions, and you realize, wow, this game is not as easy as I thought it was. We've been conditioned for this game for 5 years now, some of us. So it's really interesting to kind of get someone else's perspective when they come into it so late in the game and they say, "This really is a space simulator." I don't know how to do anything. When I'm old and I'm talking to my grandkids, this is the kind of stuff, unfortunately, I'm going to be so experienced with. I'm going to be able to tell them, "This is how you did things in Elite Dangerous. This is what I'll be known for my whole life, I think."
And to be fair, it's a kind of a phenomenon in any game. If you have somebody new that you are showing around how it works,
Mhm.
that you start seeing things from a different perspective, and start reconsidering or thinking, why is it the way it is? For me, it's completely natural by now, but it's a good point. You really realize these things. I'm curious for the base building options that we've at least got hints at, both from the leak and the that mistake Frontier apparently did with when they released the Arc Store, saying
Mistake.
buy your base skins or whatever it was exactly, customization for your bases. So I
I know a
expect
little bit
that
about this.
Oh,
When base building was originally being conceived, which was tremendously long ago, I want to say pre-Horizons, people were talking about blow up tents that you could attach to asteroids. And then it was, I want to say, I could be wrong here, but I want to say originally it was going to play into crafting. Crafting has evolved tremendously in this game, to the point where we don't even know what crafting is. We think of it as engineering and collecting the materials for engineering.
yeah.
But originally, things like laser colors was going to be a crafted thing. So you pick up ingredients from X and Y, and you take it to your base, and you craft that together with all your crafting equipment. Which, if you start thinking about it long enough, it's going to sound like base building is kind of like Fallout 4, settlement development, but super simplified. So one thing I do expect to see with base building is drilling plants, uh, the ability to gather materials from planets just passively. But other than that, I don't know much more. I do know a lot about the history that I've pieced together, and things have changed so much in the game that it's hard to say what base building is going to be now.
I guess we will find out once we get the actual details. But I thought I could at least bring it up in terms of customization, which is a fairly interesting topic to talk about.
I'm very excited about it.
And I'm always up for more. It's one of the biggest hopes I have from these arc changes in general, and that so far I think they've delivered on by regularly featuring new skins, or I think these seasonal skins like we had Black Friday, these midnight black paint jobs, and I think there are Christmas paint jobs that people are waiting for. I think these have been a thing for longer, but I'm happy to see that they are actively considering to add new stuff to the Arcs shop and to your customization options.
I'd like to see the elusive paint jobs become more permanent.
Which ones are those?
The midnight paint jobs is an example. You have
In
to wait
general,
for
yeah.
them.
Right. Which is a clever move on their part, because if
Oh
they
yeah.
are special and you can only get them for a very limited number of days, people think about them multiple times. That
Yeah.
included me this year. I was like, okay, I
It
got
also
this one
brings
because I have
everybody in.
I have enough arcs. Let me get this one. I want at least this. But the paint job will be gone by a couple of days. Let me
I
get
mean,
it
if
for
you
the
want to
other
know
ships I
why,
like too.
I'm in game right now to collect arcs. So it definitely, the things they do is obviously working.
It definitely worked. I got the Midnight Black paint job for more ships than I originally intended to get them for.
I have all the paint jobs I want. I'm not happy with any of the paint jobs on the market for the cutter yet. I haven't found anything better than that pearl white.
Yeah, there is nothing better than white for Imperial ships.
Obviously, it's up to opinion. By the way, are we open up to everyone else?
Yes, we are. I think I said so, and we had the funny intro.
All right, we did. Yeah. Does anyone
If you
else have any comments on paint jobs and which ones are best for the cutter?
if you put a red one on any Imperial ship, you're a feather.
What's up with you? Red's not even a federal color.
I have to out it as a federal then because my cutter is using that Midnight Black paint job too, and I think it's awesome.
How dare you?
Oh, I bet the cutter would look nice in midnight black. So
It's a pitch black cutter in space. It's as stealthy as you can get in terms of paint job.
yeah, which is not why you fly a cutter. You're supposed to be showing off. Like, you should have a paint job that glows.
Yeah, I got a Stygian one.
Have you seen my SRVs? I'm one of the 0.01% of players that customize their SRV with the glowing paint job.
Hey, do the same thing.
You can see me from space.
What is the official color of the Federation? Or the
Slate
Empire?
blue. The Empire? Official color of the Empire?
Mm-hmm.
Just white.
Huh.
Really, wasn't Empire always shades of blue and Fed's always shades of red?
Yeah, I think so.
On the interface, yeah. Just because you can't use white and gray.
So I
But,
guess my blue cutter is a bit of a abomination.
there's been, I mean,
What
it all
did
got
you
a little
put on it?
confusing once power play came to be. But I mean, if you want to say who's red, well, that would be Denton Petraeus.
And to be fair, I've had people like Techie point me out for using red paint jobs and red jackets on my HoloMe before, but I have a very simple explanation. Go and check the color of the branch of Vigor, and then comment again.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're also an independent pilot. You can do whatever you want.
Right.
And hey, you got to get to this mindset that the Federation is not the opposite of the Empire. We're bigger than that, okay? As much as I love loyalty, you have to be open-minded.
Do we?
Do you
It depends.
encourage?
So a content creator like me has to be extremely open-minded because I get commissioned by people that are federal that want me to make a non-biased or excuse me, a federally biased portrait. And so
Kevin,
obviously I'm approaching it more from like a dev standpoint. I remember when Frontier was getting they were getting accused of all being imperially biased, which I want to say is true that Braben is an imperial fan. He's all for the Empire. But they used to say all the developers were heavily favoring the Empire. Only the Empire had interesting news. They had the coolest ships. I guess that was long
Yeah,
before there
we
was
do.
even a cutter.
We're far better than the Federation.
Except
See,
the Federation has that newcomer bonus because everyone starts there.
that is true.
Yeah,
There is
that's just
significantly
some
less.
marketing.
Have you looked at the statistics on Inara that breaks down power play right now?
I think AD is leading by far.
Oh yeah. I want to say she's got like, what was it, 16% or something of. I'd have to look again, but
Let me open it up right away. Powers pledged. Current Inara stats are 70% no pledge, which is also an interesting number,
Mm-hmm.
which shows that, at least from in our registered users, which I think should be fairly representative to map onto the full player base. Most of commanders are not only interested, or not just not interested in power play, but also not pledged.
Mm-hmm.
And then it is 12% AD, and after that 4% Hudson, which is enormous difference.
Yeah. Yeah. She's pretty much all of the Empire combined.
To be fair and make that remark though, number of pledged commanders does not automatically also relate to the efficiency of their power play. A lot of how good they are in the actual power play depends on their organization and the devotion of their, let's say, core player base and how big that is. So for that, it may not be too representative, but yeah.
Yeah, it is one other thing is true, that the Federation has a larger population of players, significantly larger, in fact. But the Empire does tend to draw more of the veteran or the RPer. So it really just, I mean, you do have to. For me, back when the game was extremely hard to you were just rubbing two credits together, trying to get anywhere, flying your Sidewinder for a good month. At least that's how it was for me before I got into the adder, unlike what people are doing today. And the Anaconda was on the the far stretched goal where I was planning on having it within a year or two. Um, the Empire was something that I had to discover. The game does not direct you towards it by any means, and if you have a really low jump range, it's going to be a long time before you even witness your first Imperial station, where you immediately pick up on a different culture.
That was my
That
experience too. Yeah, you do not encounter the Empire by accident, at least not in the starting systems back then. I'm not sure if it changed with the changes to the new player experience, but I was always wondering, there's 3 superpowers in my right panel. Where are the other 2?
Yeah.
You only find them by really looking for them.
Yeah, and back then, since we didn't have the power play map, I viewed the galaxy map a lot differently than how we see it now. For example, from Seoul, looking at the faction aligned, I want to say it did throw Empire in blue and Federation into red when coloring the stars on the galaxy map. And it appeared like the Empire was above the Federation, like there were 2 pancakes stacked on top of each other. And I don't think that's the actual representative of what it looks like now that we can see what the bubble actually looks like using power play. But back then, when I was a new player, that's how I viewed it. And I'm like, huh, that's interesting. So the Federation just flew straight up, and I mean the Empire flew straight up and colonized an Agnar straight above us and made a new pancake of humanity. That's all inaccurate, but it is originally how I saw things.
Sounds like a tasty version of history.
For me, the power play map was also the best guess on really guessing where the superpowers are. I think technically the easiest way to see where Imperial systems are or Federal systems is by going to that middle tab and searching for allegiance. But that's not where you end up as a new player initially that quickly. The first thing you see is the power play map, where it shows with nice colors. First of all, the extent of the bubble, as you can try to generalize it, and then you see the allegiance of these powers and where they sit. And that was how I found out. Okay, in this direction, this is where I have to look for the Empire.
Yeah. Last week I talked a lot about theming and making the world just feel alive.
Mhm.
And one thing I really love that Elite Dangerous does a good job of is doing theming with very little. And that's like, for example, if you go into power play, um, you hear different music depending on what your power play leader is that you're currently looking at. Um, and I love that. So for the Empire, they try to deliver as much culture with as little as possible. Um, like when you land in an Imperial station, this is what hooked me on the Empire. I went to an Imperial station. It just so happened to be a one of their pristine kind. Back in the day, there were only two station interiors, either your
Mhm.
generic
The
kind
brown
or
one.
the soul kind with the white walls. They didn't have tourism or any of the economies yet, um, but the I landed there with the white walls, and I'm hearing the Imperial announcers, and you've got the Imperial music. Not to mention, I heard an Imperial music when I jumped into the system for the first time, and that's what hooked me.
I have to confess that I most of the time play without the in-game music, even though I did play with the music multiple times, and I think it's awesome. But I'm the kind of player that just needs to have their own music player or something else going on in the background. But yeah, now that you say it, I remember too that they have these changing themes, and on top of that, with that patch this year where they added the codex, I think it is also a really nice and simple way to add flavor to things like power play by having each of the power characters um, voice some lines of their own, which is really
Oh
nice.
yeah,
You can just
is
go into
that is
the
awesome.
codex article for any power and add it to your what's it called, that reader feature where it reads articles for you, and there's a section
The
voiced
code,
by some voice actor for that power play character, which is really cool.
yeah, I loved that addition. I wish we'd seen that sooner. Yeah, and they did good voice talent too. A lot of them are exactly what I expected, except for Hudson. Oh my god. That Texan voice is so dramatic that I assume that's how people in the UK assume Americans sound.
Well,
Like, I'm a Republican.
I mean, you do realize Zachary Hudson is basically drawn exactly after like an actor, Robert
Yes,
Patrick.
I do. I'm aware of all of the characters are drawn after an actor.
Aren't they?
Some
I only managed to
obscure
find
than
out
others.
two. Everyone else I can't figure out just yet. I think Arissa is based after Ava Green.
I don't know, but that's possible. I do know who some of them are based after, but
Any other points you want to make about the general topic of customization before we close up the show?
I think that covers it for me.
If so, then I'm inclined to end our podcast here for today. Thank you all for participating in the show today. Another one without Jeff, even though he still appears online for me on Discord. We'll have to chat with him about that. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the show and see you next time. We'll have to talk about when next time is, because holiday seasons are coming up, so possible not everyone is available. But yeah, see you next time and have a nice day.
Fly dangerously.
And don't forget, Imperial ships only deserve white paint jobs.